Olá, tudo bem? Espero que sim. Hi, today we are talking about cognates. What are cognates? So, cognates are those words on either side, in this case, Portuguese words and English words that they look and sound the same. Not exactly the same, but sort of. For example, say session in English. In Portuguese, that will be sessão. Or quality in English. In Portuguese, that will be qualidade. You see, they kind of resemble one another. And so, why is this important? Well, I think that if you are well aware of cognates, and there are many different groups between English and Portuguese, groups of cognates, then it can really be a big help for you to recall words so you can increase your vocabulary just like this, as long as you are aware that these cognates exists. And maybe most importantly, we need to make some tweakings in spelling and in pronunciation to get it right, to get the Portuguese words right. And there are some patterns to make those tweakings, and that's what I will be focusing on in this video as well. If this is your first time here on my channel, welcome. My name is Pedro. No, in Portuguese, I would say Pedro. And I'm here to help you out with your Portuguese. Simple, right? Shall we start? Yeah, I think so. Let's do it. Agora já! So here we are. Let's look at a few examples. We have group 1, and actually the first 3 groups, they belong to a bigger group. This one, ION, this is the ending in English, and AN, the ending in Portuguese. And the first subgroup is the Tion, shun in English, and sound with the C, with the cedilha, sound in Portuguese. So let's see a few examples. So for instance, we have a function in English, and in Portuguese, função, or nation, nação, education, educação, and so on and so forth. And you see that they are cognates. They kind of, there is a pattern here. There are a few differences. Let's start. Well, the spelling is obvious. You are like looking at the spelling, but the pronunciation, the word stress, for instance, in English, we are stressing the function, this first syllable here. Or education. So it's actually the next to last syllable we stress in English. Whereas in the Portuguese cognates, it's the last syllable where we are putting the stress. So função, educação. So this is quite important to, when you are thinking in terms of cognates, to try recalling Portuguese words. This bit of getting it right when it comes to pronunciation is, of course, important. And then, of course, you have all these nasal sounds, so standard in Portuguese. Função, nação, educação. All right, then all words in this big group, actually, so all words you will be seeing in these first 3 groups, they are feminine. A função, a nação, a educação. So all words in Portuguese ending in ão, they are feminine, as long as we are referring to abstract nouns. So abstract nouns, right? Função, it's an abstract concept. Nação, nation, it's an idea. Educação, it's an idea. They are abstract nouns. And abstract nouns in Portuguese, those that end in with the suffix ão, they are feminine. Now, if we are talking about concrete nouns, for instance, coração, heart, you see, it can happen that the noun is masculine, which is the case, o coração. So this rule, this feminine here, applies only, or you can be sure that it will apply when we are talking about abstract nouns. And by the way, today you see this is part one. I should have said this in the beginning, but I'm focusing only on noun cognates in this video. So I will do another video where I'll be talking about adjectives and adverbs, but in this case is only nouns. All right, let's look at the second subgroup, and here we have, you see, it's the same bigger group, but then we have S in English and S as well in Portuguese. So for instance, we have conclusion, conclusão, dimension, dimensão, confusion, confusão. But otherwise, it's the same. You see, it's feminine nouns, and when it comes to word stress, it's the same principle. We will stress the last syllable in Portuguese, so dimensão, confusão, and of course the nasality, our nasal diphthongs, dimensão. All right, the third subgroup is this one, double S in English and double S in Portuguese as well. So progressão, sorry, this is the Portuguese, progression, progressão, emission, emissão. But you see, it is the same principle. We are stressing in English this second to last, next to last syllable, emission, session. And in Portuguese, we will be stressing the last syllable, emissão, sessão. By the way, let me just backtrack here just to underscore that in these ones, when we have the S, the single S, and when S is in between vowels, such as invasão, S in between vowels, as you may know, will render the Z sound, invasão. Whereas in this group, since we have the double S, we'll get the S sound, so missão. See the difference? Invasão, missão. All right, then let's move to our fourth group, and here we have in English the suffix ity, and then we'll get dade in Portuguese. So spirituality, espiritualidade, functionality, funcionalidade, flexibility, flexibilidade. All these nouns are feminine as well. And word stress, you see that we are stressing the next to last syllable in Portuguese. So flexibilidade, superficialidade. Whereas in English, it might be the third to last, maybe superficiality. I think so. Flexibility, yeah, flexibility. So flexibility. So we have it's on the third to last syllable. So just keep in mind where we are stressing on the Portuguese side, so you get it right. And don't forget also that this is here at the end, they are mute. They are almost nearly silent. So espiritualidade. It's not espiritualidade, it is espiritualidade. All right, let's move on to group number 5. Oh yeah, here we have all the isms and ismo in Portuguese. And so we have capitalism, capitalismo, organism, organismo, conformism, conformismo. You see word stress next to last syllable, racismo. And what else? Yes, the S, it will make the Z sound because it is before is followed by a consonant that is voiced. It's a voiced consonant, so we'll get the Z sound, organismo. And yeah, this also worth to notice the O at the end of words. will sound like U, okay? It's quite short, the sound, and it will be U. Organismo, racismo. I know that especially English native speakers, they have a tendency to make it into a O, as in racismo, iluminismo, but no, it's racismo, iluminismo. All right, the final group now, and that's the Gramma. So this is a Greek suffix, I think. Yeah, should be. And so you have program, programma, diagram, diagramma, kilogram, kilogramma. Now notice that all these words are masculine. This can be counterintuitive because you see this A at the end, and you might think, okay, words ending in A, chances are they are feminine, and that's right. But in this case, don't look at the last letter, look at the suffix, gramma, and then you know, okay, words ending in gramma, they are masculine, so you have telegramma. Word stress is next to last syllable, programma, telegramma, pictogramma. This is it for noun cognates. Again, I will be doing a second video on adjectives and adverbs. I hope that you find this useful. I think that cognates can really be a powerful tool as long as you get better and better at making these tweakings and converting from English to Portuguese when it comes to pronunciation, word stress. If you are writing, also be aware of the spellings. So if you practice, you'll eventually get better and better, and so it will be easier and easier to recall Portuguese words. I will also leave a link to a post on Portuguesepedia on this topic. And that's all for today. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao!